All right. Hello, hello. Welcome. Welcome to Otherworld Connections. I'm your host, Gino, and you are tuned in to Revolution.Radio, Studio A. Yes. I literally got to just upload onto the computer in time for this show. Turns out I am not a fan of DIY. Oh my gosh. I'm still trying to get over and get past my escapades with the paint sprayer. It was missing a part the whole time. So that was the problem. And now it looks like some neoliberal fine art project in the garage. Paint all over my body, all over my hands, all over my life. Oh my gosh, I was furious. But I mean, who cares? Who cares? Well, I do. What's the point of my story? I just had a lot to talk about today. I was going to play an old episode, but hey, there aren't very many. There aren't very many. But I want to share some news and so on and so forth. But first, I got to get my house in order on behalf of Revolution Radio. Please consider donating. This is a listener-supported radio station. And there are a lot of volunteers that give up a lot of their time to make things happen, like to organize the hosts and to make sure sound's coming through okay, all these kind of things, and they do it for free, which is really crazy, like crazy good, right? And I just feel good, like I feel lucky to be around people that are willing to do things like that. Yeah, it's a nice feeling. And that's why I keep showing up. Well, at least I try to. And I've had I've been unwell, which is not usual for me. And at the moment I'm alright, but I've got this persistent hacking cough where I can't even really speak properly. But at the moment, I think I'm coming to the end of it. So we'll see. If I start with all the coughing, then I'll probably just play an old episode. Got to get my mute button sorted out. There are 2 mute avenues to go down. And so I've been doing DIY madness trying to paint these kitchen cabinets. We replaced the hinges of the kitchen cabinets. Turns out the doors are made out of timber, which is fantastic. So, you watch the YouTube videos, all you need is a lick of paint and everybody's smiling. Well, they're not smiling. They're dying on the inside, I promise you. They're dying on the inside. And they skip all the bits. And all the bits they skip is all the problems. All the problems they encounter. Because here's the thing. Okay, you paint a kitchen cabinet. Well, where are you going to put it when it's wet? You get what I mean? You got to paint the whole door, right? Okay, so you paint one side. But you have to have it elevated, right? So you have to do this Jenga thing. You have to balance them everywhere so they're not touching anything. Otherwise, the wet paint is going to stick to the thing it's lying on top of, okay? So that was the first fail. And meanwhile, it turns out the sprayer was missing a piece, this tiny little rubber washer, the whole time. And I've just wasted a whole day destroying all the cabinets with paint. And finally figuring out that there's a washer that's missing. Well, it's hard to know that the washer's missing because the whole thing's covered, the whole internal stuff's covered with wet paint. Oh my gosh. So this is like Gino's diary. Gino's failed diary. And speaking of failed diary, I still am saying I'm starting soon when I'm actually live. So here we go. Here I am on the home scene. Camera only. That's me. So yeah, I'm broadcasting live on YouTube, which is good because I'm just going to post this in the... Oh my gosh, don't you do that to me. So the window on, I don't know if you guys, any fellow hosts notice this, but the window follows me where I want to go. Could be just me. So I want to click there, but there's that window in the way of the stream. So anyway, paste. Live on YouTube now. Wow. So yeah, if you are listening and you don't know what the heck this is all about, oh, stream is not hooking up. Gino can hear you though. Thank you, Monster. So shout out to Monster383. Man, just Monster, Comet, you guys are so reliable. Just I'm here, and then you just looking out for us. Yeah, and nice to see you again, Gino from Eagleflower. Hello, Eagleflower. Thank you for your kind words, and nice to see you. I always drop something, so this time I remembered mute. But then now I forgot the to put my camera on. But yeah, it's video killed the radio star. I mean, I just finally figured out all the audio stuff in a way, and then I thought, I better do video like all the cool kids are doing. And now it's really going to be a blah, 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 but I do have a few things to share. So, well, thankfully I did, so I've been uploading on YouTube, and a friend, Inika, well, I caught up with her because I guess she got a notification on the YouTube. So that was nice to hear from Inika, and I'm going to find her comments. And this was speaking to last week's show. Was it last week or the week before? Inika is a high school teacher in New York, downtown. You can tell I'm from like a tiny small town in the middle of nowhere. Whereabouts in New York are you from? Probably downtown. Like, isn't there? That's New York, isn't it? Everywhere is downtown in New York. So Inika's an inner city high school teacher. I think it's high school. I get the Inika works with, I believe, 13, 14-year-olds, English as a second language. And yeah, it's just great because it's just great to have a teacher chiming in on some of this stuff, because I believe in all the people that did teaching, and I believe in people that do stuff for others. And that's part of why I'm really glad to be on Revolution Radio, because everybody here is doing stuff for others, and it's pretty selfless, really. Except when you're emotionally offloading about your troubles with painting and stuff in your personal life, because you've got no one else to talk to. Oh, I'm just kidding, but or am I? No. So anyway, Inika, yes. Oh, I've got an itchy nose. How do I do that off the screen? Oh, I can't be bothered. Oh, look, I'll just lean over here. Yeah, so Inika's saying, thank you for the demonstration. She's talking about the dowsing. She's glad that I showed how one should or could work through the questions and answers in the process of dowsing. Well, you're welcome, Inika, and I just think people that serve others and do things like that, pendulums are really good for you. Whatever comes through, like whatever makes that pendulum swing, it's. I personally think it's a tool for you guys, for us, for hosts, you guys on the Revolution Radio, for management. The more you do stuff helping for other people, the more the pendulum is going to work really well for you. And you won't know until you try it. And the hard thing is asking the tough questions and being prepared to get an answer that you don't want, as in like a yes or no. You want something to say yes and it's going to say no, whatever, but being courageous enough to do that is, that's tough. I mean, whether you do it or not is another thing. I don't act on everything I ask. I should. I do eventually, but I don't straight away. My, ego gets in the way. Ego gets in the way sometimes. So Inika also says, by the way, I purchased an air purifier for my home and all my plants became greener and even bloomed flowers I had never seen before. I missed that line, actually. That's amazing. So I know that if plants are happier, then it must be good for humans too. Well, that's a really good comment. We were talking about air purification. Easy to overlook. Bit of a cost involved in setting it up. Temu. Temu does have very rudimentary ones for not that bad a price, and they do work. It's just the filter part. I've got to find out how to make my own filter. You can get these carbon pads, and by the looks of it, the Temu thing, the cost is in the actual carbon pad, which is still, it seems ridiculously expensive because I think it costs more than the actual device. And it looks like just a black sponge. I mean, that's all it is. It's a carbon sponge. So we've got to figure out where to get them, and then I can just recommend you just get these cheap ones on Temu and you plug them into the spare USB port on your computer. So while you're doing your stuff on your computer, you've got that filter going, and it's filtering out nasties. Obviously, that's not, that's not like base level. But, yeah, basic is good just to get things going. Yeah, so about the dowsing, one cool thing that I think, if you do have a pendulum, if you don't, you literally just find a stone or a rock or a crystal when you go on a walk or maybe around the house, and you can just you literally can just tie a bit of string to it. I mean, it's not super ideal because the balance in your hand doesn't feel amazing, but all the pomp and circumstance around it, you don't need any of that. You just need to find out if you're getting a yes, which is one direction, and a no, another direction. And, only you know the answer to that. The books say no. The books say this is how it should be, but it's not true. Because it's you and just an extension of your body, right? And I hope to be able to do it without a pendulum at some point, because that's what shamans do, right? There might be neo-shamans or whatever, but they just stand there and then they feel which direction they're getting as a yes or a no. I want to get to that point, but sometimes I go to ask a question, I know what the answer is going to be. Obviously, I'm not doing fortune telling, right? Just like little things, little decisions that need to be made in my day-to-day. So yeah. Yes. So yes, Inika, shout out to Inika. Thank you so much for listening, and it really does mean a lot to me. And yeah, and the fellow hosts that listen in as well, thank you so much. It does mean a lot to me too. And to management who are around looking after all of us. Just thank you for your hard work. Hopefully I make money one day somehow and I can give you a tip. It's a shame we're not in the same area, because I'll give you homebrew beer. So there's another thing I want to tell you about. That was 17 minutes of blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to try and fill up at least an hour with blah, blah, blah. If you have any questions, please just let me know. I didn't want to cheap out on a show again because I've been so poorly, which is out of the ordinary for me. So what I've been working on is, things like this is like, should I share them? Yes. So one of the things about achieving goals, okay, which we talk about a lot on Otherworld Connections, is telling people. Generally speaking, don't tell anyone. Do not tell anyone. How many people have told you, oh, I'm going to be doing this, I'm going to be doing that, I'm going to be doing this amazing thing, I'm going to be doing this other thing? Well, if you listen out for it, people tell you that all the time, but you don't know because they don't do it. They just go around telling everybody that they're going to do it, and they don't do it. So we do live in a world of hypermaterialization, the Ahrimanic force. So, you know, we live in a time where if people talk about doing something, it's almost as valued as, sometimes it's even more valued. Literally, it's sometimes more valued than actually doing it. Claiming that space verbally rather than actually doing it in 3D reality can be more valued, is the word, than actually doing it. Okay, so, you know, it's a bit rich coming from me now that I'm like jumping online and it's my face on the screen and the blah, 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 blah. But yeah, I'm trying to invert that. So I'm saying, like, if I tell you, oh, I'm going to be doing this thing, well, I'm not doing myself any favors. It's deflating the balloon. Deflating, and inside the balloon is the inspiration to act. And it wants to go off and happen and manifest, as in you take action on it. But telling people, you're just siphoning air out of the balloon and blowing hot air on people. Farting in people's faces, all that gas in the balloon. So yeah. The point of my story is I was thinking, should I even say this? But I'm in the motion of doing it. The point of my story is I'm creating an oracle card deck for families called the Family Bonding Oracle Deck. And I do actually want to start sharing the journey. Because that's what you're supposed to do online, right? You're supposed to document what you're doing. So how am I going to do this? Well, anyway, so as an example, I've completed card number 1. So I'm probably going to do, well, see, this is where there's something I want to do, and I haven't done it. And I have actually said, this is what I'm going to do. And I haven't done it. Because I've talked about it, I haven't actually just gone and done it. But the Oracle card deck, I didn't tell anybody about it, and now I'm actually doing it. And it's getting done. So now I can share as the journey goes. And I'm just going to do it, because otherwise, yeah, it's going to be less likely to happen. So I've got to figure out a way to share with you guys. Well, I'm just going to verbally share. So the first card is riding a train, and I want to talk about that. So Family Bonding Oracle Deck. The idea is it's a tarot-ish deck, like an oracle deck. It's got 72 cards, which is a lot. And obviously every card has a symbol or something on it. All right. And so card number 1 is a train. And card number 1 is called riding a train. So it's an interactive thing, and the interactive part is, the idea is to help streamline and fast track parental engagement with young children. They're young children, like 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 2.5-year-old. So 2 to 7, like preschool age. That's where I studied, and that's kind of the age group that I have experience working with. And the point of the story is that engaging, like, first off, like, parents don't really have much time, right? Because of, the one eye, the money god. You got to get money. If you don't have money, then you're in trouble, and you can't feed your kids and house them and clothe them. So while that's going on, all these opportunities for bonding with your children, with our children, are squandered. And that's the trap, the societal trap that we are born into. And so, yeah, I've spent a bit of time thinking about, a solution to this without it being like going into homeschooling, which is great. What I mean is like, what's some things that, looking at solutions that any parent can do without having to do anything super drastic like relocating, moving house, or, that sort of thing. Relocation is like hugely traumatic for kids. Kids are very resilient, and, life is trauma, right? Life is just full of traumas. I do believe that for kids, it's about trying to minimize those traumas. And, some people have to relocate. Some people have to uproot and leave. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, say you're an adult and your 3-year-old is in pre-K or whatever you call it in America, like a daycare, kindy, and then you start reading about how bad these places are and indoctrination and da-da-da, and you think, oh my gosh. Well, what a lot of parents do is go, right, I'm changing that. I'm pulling my kid out. And that's really bad for, like, really, really bad for the child. I mean, obviously, if they're extremely unhappy, well, that's another story. You got to figure out why that is and who's causing the unhappiness, all that sort of thing. But as just like your adult opinion of like, this is bad for my child, I'm getting out, I'm pulling my child out, that's actually, it's not good. And it might be necessary, but it's just to say that it is a trauma, and, obviously parents are responsible to decide if that's what they should do. But my point is that, if you awaken and you have kids on board, there are a lot of things that can cause a lot of harm to the kid, to your kids, from waking up and knowing what's bad and stuff like that. The best thing is to do is to spend more time with your kids, no matter what you're doing, like what's happening. Like if you live in the city, or if you live on a homestead, or if you're homeschooling, or if you're just in like an inner city, suburban, drop your kid off wherever you can because you've got to go to your office just down the road, whatever. The best thing to do is, just like anything, is like time management. If you just look at it like starting up a business or setting goals, it's like allotting some time to doing, to engaging with your kids. And then once you get to that point, and your time is short and your time is very limited. And so the point of the Family Bonding Oracle deck is to speed that up and fast track that, because when you spend all day with a whole bunch of kids, you get good at recognizing what kids like to do and don't like to do, and you get to know them oftentimes really better than the parents. That's really sad. And that's another thing that motivated me to do this, is like, I want the parents to know these things, rather than just like weirdo male early childhood teacher Gino that people are suspicious of knowing better than, the parents. Like, for example, like just even at a basic level, like when a child goes through a growth spurt and gets hungry, well, I'm the first. I was like one of the first people to pick up on it. Hey, mum and dad, sorry, your kid's hungry. Do you mind packing an extra sandwich or two? And I mean, it goes down like a cup of cold sick, right? Because it's not a complaint, but it has to be said. And it's not in aggression or in judgment. Well, it is in judgment. It's in judgment as in like, oh, I've noticed this change, and I'll just forward it on to the parent. No big deal. But obviously, it's the judgment part that carries, right? Because I'm telling them that they're not feeding their kid enough, which is not true, but that's how it's perceived. So anyway, like, the nuance is the nuances are like the big deals in terms of how your child likes to learn, who your child, the kind of person your child is wanting to become, maybe the kind of person that your child is becoming that maybe you don't want, or maybe isn't so good because of this, that, and the other reason. But generally, like that stuff comes from neglect. So the solution again is just spending time, putting your time and attention to your children. And coming back to time, it's hard enough to get the time, and then thinking like, what are you going to do? So that was the other thing I noticed, is that obviously generally parents are great, and they mean well, and maybe some of them don't know exactly what to do. So the family bonding oracle deck is to try and like fast track that. Like it's just like a tool, an aid to these kind of things for like parent to child or caregiver to child engagement. It's just a tool for that. And I think everyone, like even educators, like once it's finished, it would be good for educators too. It'd be good for anyone that knows that, like the children, the cliche, the children of the future, and we've got to do something about that. This is going to be, like, in my opinion, the best tool for the job, because it's to inspire adults, and it'll inspire kids as well, through adults being inspired, because that's how inspiration passes on. They see inspiration in the adults in their life, and they become inspired. They in turn become inspired adults when they grow up. So that's good, and that's getting the wheel in motion. So it's like this growth and development that needs to happen in society. It is with the adults. The kids are there rearing to go in the motion of the change. So in that sense, we just need some like help and like some excuses to do this stuff. And then the idea of this is for adults to develop their intuition, because that's what happens. So you're a parent, you're busy, you're working, and you want to make some time to engage with your child, and it's really hard, and you're really tired, and you're really stressed out, and you finally get to, say, your Saturday afternoon where you're just free to spend time with your kid, and you're like, oh my gosh, I really can't be bothered, and you're really tired, and I've probably said that 100 times, but that's how it is, and that's like the best time to do it. Your brain is in like theta brainwave state, which is what Bruce Lipton always goes on about, the power of the mind and MWB. And it's a receptive state as well. So this is where you develop you exercise your patience, because you're kind of at the end of your thread. Not in terms of like anger or rage, but just in like exhaustion. And this is why people that do all the mentalism exercises and the mystery schools, they're big on like what you're putting your mind to the last thing before you go to sleep and the first thing when you get up, because you're still in that drowsy sort of state. So doing the family oracle bonding deck, you're going to be already in a drowsy state as just a well-wishing, well-to-do parent, because you're going to be busy all the time working, and then when it comes time to the meat and potatoes of real life and your true role as a parent, you're just going to be not really up to the task. But that's a good thing in terms of like the magic. And this is something that is unique in the sense that it shouldn't be unique, but it's me doing unique stuff in my life. Has kind of put a spotlight on that for me to share to people. And most of the time it goes down like a cup of cold sick, but that's okay, because nevertheless, I believe in it, and I know that it's the truth. That, you know, when you're in the space and you're engaging with kids in like child-led play and activities, and you're getting involved too, the other world, that which we cannot see, your guides, your angels, the fairies, all that sort of stuff, they absolutely love that, and that's when the synchronicities, the serendipities, all these kind of things start happening. And to keep it child focused, it's about, in those spaces, learning about, you know, your kid, your child. So riding a train. So if I hope that sort of example or that explanation made sense. It's gonna take a while to finish because obviously I want what I was trying to explain to be quite clear, and that to kind of shine through on really every card. And then each card is essentially linked to a practice or an activity that is important for your child. So it's for the adult to learn about their child and do stuff with. So riding a train is, I want to talk about that. Trying to think the best way I'm going to be able to do this. Okay, I'm going to go to the home scene. I'm going to bring up the PDF. Yeah, so anyway, like, does that sort of make sense to you guys? Bring this down. Oh, this is not looking good. Why is it like that? Why? Anyway. Poor Ernie out there, he's desperate to have a play. Sorry, buddy, we're going to play later, okay? Alright, so, yeah, train. So first off, how do we explain this? We explain this like, well, you know the song, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Well, that's kind of the secret to the whole thing, believe it or not. I suppose people that are into this common law stuff know that we are vessels, or we are boats, and there's that maritime thing. Well, first off, I think for that, let's just go to boat on this dictionary, the symbolism dictionary, while we're talking about this. Scrolling up, come on, we're going to B, because we're rowing our boat. Setting the tone here. I haven't actually looked at the definition here, so hopefully it doesn't let me down. Boat. The human body. There we go. So the boat symbolizes the human body, the soul, or the womb, the resurrection. So there we go. So row your boat gently down the stream. Let's go to stream. So if you're rowing your boat, it's, you know, you're going in your direction in life. Gently. Let's go to stream. Oh, I feel like I need to sing a song while I do this scrolling around. But I won't do that to you, don't worry. Stream. Here we go. Stream. Peace. Righteousness. Flow of divine power. leaving the world of illusion to attain enlightenment. So there's a sort of a little bit of like a plural to like maybe a journey, righteousness, doing the right thing, enlightening yourself, obviously growth and development, spiritual development. So there's a little bit of a hint there. Stream, peace, flow of divine power. Yeah, so, row your boat, which is creating a flow, divine power, using your divine power, something like that. So there's a little bit of that. But anyway, the point is, life is but a dream, and this stuff especially applies to preschoolers whose brain hasn't fully developed yet, but their subconscious mind is fully developed. That's the main part of their brain that's fully developed. Everything else is still firing on all cylinders, trying to grow and do its thing. So life really is a dream for preschoolers. And so how this works is, like actually a train in real life is more about what that symbolizes than what it is in 3D reality for a kid. And if you look at, like, if you read like this Jungian stuff about dream things, one thing I've started to believe, this is why I mentioned it because I've been reading about it, is that, not every dream necessarily is something for you to decipher and decode and then take action upon, like as if it was like this message for you, or a directive. I still believe that kind of is a thing, occasionally, or it can be. But my work with dream stuff and studying that and the symbolism is more like affirmative, more just like, hey, things are going all right, or things are going to be okay, based on whatever the topic, the symbolism of the dream was. And the point of saying that is that, when we go to sleep, we do have forces working in the background, helping us to try and get us to where we want to go. And these dreams can often just be that being processed. Because I guess doing the right thing may not, like in 3D reality, taking action, doing the right thing may not actually make your life better for you, or, like in a karmic way, it might not work in a way that, sometimes we probably kind of think we want it to. You're sort of like, you reap what you sow. Well, often you get like, look at Jesus Christ, he got crucified for his good deeds, right? So I think sometimes like the effects of these things are kind of out of our hands. In that sense, if that makes sense. I mean, the point of my story is that, okay, so we're talking about train and riding a train. So the act of going on a train ride with your 3-year-old, with your son, your daughter, with your family, there's something in that I believe deeply affects your child in the way of which whatever riding a train symbolizes, if you look into, which we're going to, the dream of riding a train. So you have a dream about riding a train. Well, whatever that kind of means, we can get close to its meaning. And we can be subjective, because we look at these different meanings of what a train is, and then we say, hey, this is actually making me connect in my mind, connect the dot to something that's been going on. But the meaning of a train, kind of the symbolic meaning of a train, there's something in that gets transferred, in a sense, to the child. And we can say a lot of things about kids, like, oh, kids love riding trains. Sure they do, because of what a train is and what it does. It connects people. It takes us on a journey, and it takes us to a destination. So that's obviously like symbolic of a lot of things, right? It's symbolic of life. It's symbolic especially, which is what I'm going to talk about, is of goal setting and achieving goals and having aspirations. And when a kid catches a train, they are full of aspiration, right? You can hear it in their voice and in the way they breathe, and they're, wow, like they're just a bundle of aspiration and positivity for going on a train ride. And the train gives them that. So it is a little bit like trains are good because trains are trains. Like it's a little bit like that. But it's more magical in the world of a child, is what I'm saying. So family bonding oracle deck card number 1 is riding a train. And so I'm going to read the card. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to read the card now. Let me bring it up. I can't bring it on the screen because I'm just not organized, because it was just the painting nightmare from hell. But it's okay. There's not much to see. I'm just going to read it to you. So it all has to fit on the back of the card. Oh, excuse me. Let's go and have a look at... All right. Yeah, so... Excuse me. All right, riding a train. Here we go. Trains connect people and places, symbolizing goal setting and achievement in light of our shared connections. Plan a weekend afternoon trip and go on a train ride with your family. Or role play a train ride at home and follow your child's lead. Someone in the family has a new route they quietly want to take in life. The riding a train card brings that pull into view, while the train symbolizes aspiration and a desire to achieve. The number one, which is on the card, we've got the number 1 on there, promises it is ambitious. And the pear, there's a piece of fruit on the card as well, the pear, because the pear adds a wholesome and exciting tone to the vision. So that's what pear symbolizes, a little bit like wholesome and, like energetic, like gusto. And then there's a blue jay on the card, and the blue jay is a helper for your child to pick a path and have fun with it. So the blue jay symbolizes finding the goal and going at that like all the way, like determination, choosing a goal and being determined to finish it and finishing it, going all the way. That's what a blue jay symbolizes. So it's it's quite a strong card, right? Riding a train, and trains are strong, right? Riding a train will help you to notice your child's emerging interests and energy. So you could set up a train ride at home using cardboard boxes, chairs, or a model set. Offer roles like Ticketmaster, ask for tickets. The conductor listens. Listens to what people are saying. And the passengers choose the stop they want to get off at, and invite your child to choose a stop and build the journey. This role-playing game can provide insights into your child's aspirations. Signs and symbols will pop up during child-led play. Offering guidance. Let your child lead the way. Stop when they move on or repeat if you are in the zone. So yeah. While these cards invite you to discover your child's emerging interests and recognize them as a higher calling, remember to sit back and enjoy the ride on a train. Yeah, so role-playing a train ride, that's super fun. Dramatic play, that, in my opinion, that extends up to 7 years old. The kids are just going to add different flavour to what actually happens on this imaginary train ride, right? So let's put it this way, like, if you... No, let's not do that. Come on, brain. So, a hypothetical. You have a 3-year-old son. You have the family bonding oracle deck. You shuffle it and you just want to take one card because, just one card's enough. And you pull out this card, number 1, riding a train. So obviously, the idea is to follow the directive, go on a train ride, or incorporate train symbolism into your life and into your child's life. And doing that is going to encourage or bring out something. I mean, it could literally be to do with trains itself, but it's going to be bubbling up this spirit of ambition, dharma, your like a goal, a large, like a life path or a goal, a thing that wants to be achieved. And the card coming out is saying that there is something. I mean, there's something in everyone, right? So this can apply to really whoever. But having train symbolism around is what's going to help bring that out. And going on a train ride is going to supercharge that, right? It's going to be embodying that energy, right? Like if you want pizza, you go to a pizza place, right? To get pizza. I mean, there's other places you can get pizza, right? So in the world of the child, it's like a dream, right? So you want your child to have goals and ambition. Maybe your child's very reserved and quiet and needs like a boost. Okay, and then the train's gonna fill that. The train's gonna provide that sort of spiritual nutrition. Because in the early years, that's when these parts of the brain are coming online. And unfortunately, the TV is destroying that part. The super higher order thinking, the real, like, the successful person order thinking, delayed gratification, making goals and sticking to them and achieving them. Making big goals, long-term goals. So, yeah, and so it's obviously going to be kind of subjective in this sense. Like, the child could be reserved and quiet and shy. And the train's going to maybe help bring something out that gives a bit of, excitement and drive and ambition to your child. And what's that going to be? Well, it could be anything. But going on the train ride, something will happen. Because also the parent is now in this zone of, I want my child to do well. I've got faith that magic things can happen when I spend my time and attention with my child, and I'm doing it for my child. And going on a train ride ticks all those boxes. And once you tick all those boxes and you're in the moment, well, you get to just sort of just get involved and enjoy, and then things start happening. And it's in that things start happening space that I want people to get in. Because I think that's where we get our rewards. So it is like quid pro quo in that way. We do get stuff out of it, and I think adults just need more coming back to them to inspire them to spend more on their kids in terms of time and attention. So yeah, train, goal setting. So that's how it's working. And so obviously there's 72 cards, and they're all stuff that kids like. And the idea is, yeah, again, just to direct. I mean, think of all, like, say you got a Saturday afternoon free to spend time with your kid, right? Well, what are you going to do? So, these things do require planning, and like making it like a tarot, I think is fantastic. You can just, like, it's literally an oracle. So you can just like pull out a card and go, right, yeah, we can do that. You don't have to think about it. You just pull the card and get it done. Different children have different needs and different learning styles and different abilities. And because you're pulling out the cards to ask for help regarding all that, you're already in the right kind of space. Yeah. Do you guys do tarot? Do you have oracle cards? I'm a bit of a freak. I have a few, to say the least. I got heaps of card decks, guys. I got runes, and loads of pendulums. A lot of which I made myself. Yeah. Oh well, so I didn't time that the greatest. Still got a minute and a half till the ad break. Oh, it's sort of kind of, yeah. I climaxed too soon, and now I have a minute and a half of blah, blah, blah. So now would be a good time to say, please consider donating to Revolution Radio, because it's listener supported. It's the number one listener supported radio station in the whole world. I want to try and find somebody put a poem. Oh, come on, Gino. Yeah, a mad painter said, remember that 3 out of 4 doctors recommend Revolution.radio. So please consider donating. You're listening to Otherworld Connections. I'm your host, Gino, and you're tuned into Revolution.radio Studio A. Stick around. We'll see you on the other side of the ad break. All right. Welcome back to Revolution Radio, Otherworld Connections. There's a thing I was trying to read. Oh, where is it? A mad painter wrote this. Are you smarter than the average sheep? Do you think the truth is magically delicious? Did you know truth does the body good? And it's good to the last drop. We never let a good conspiracy go to waste. We have the beef, and nobody does it better for less. Remember that 3 out of 4 doctors recommend revolution.radio. Oh, that was nice. Thank you, Mad Painter, for that. I got to copy and paste that. But yeah, so please consider donating to Revolution Radio, because it's the #1 listener-supported radio station on the internet on the whole world planet Earth. Oh, yeah. That's how we roll. Okay. So, time to do a reading. Time to do a reading. Shall I use the Oracle deck? No. No. We won't do that. Let's have a look what I'm going to use. Can you see my tarot library behind me? All right, it's the Oracle of the Trees. I have to get like a soundbite for every deck that I use. So here it is. Oracle of the Trees. Funnily enough, by Francesca Valente. My last name is Volante. Interesting. Trees, trees, trees. We've done a bit about trees on Otherworld Connections. Yeah, what do you reckon about trees? I reckon trees are powerful helpers. I really do. And their influence and reach spreads far and wide through the network of mycelium under the ground. However that all works. But yes, trees are here in service to us. I think I want to read The Giving Tree. I'm just going to do that because it came into my mind. Oh yes, we got on PDF. Okay, this is a kid's book. It's a good story. It's a really nice story. And I think it sums up the power of trees and what trees do for us. Let's just make sure we're coming through. Looking pretty good. Okay, it's by Shel Silverstein, The Giving Tree. Once there was a tree. Bit of dramatic pausing if you're not watching. We have pictures. Let me just put the link up again. It's still coming super hot this end. Oh, might be me. Oh no. There we go. Just a link to... Oh, it's okay. It's not me. So yeah, check me out on the Discord server. You can see the video there. It's a picture book. It's a really nice story. Or on YouTube, or just listen. So once there was a tree, and she loved a little boy. And every day, the boy would come. And he would gather her leaves. And make them into crowns, and play king of the forest. He would climb up her trunk. And swing from her branches. And eat apples. And they would play hide and go seek. And when he was tired, he would sleep in her shade. And the boy loved the tree very much. And the tree was happy. But time went by. And the boy grew older. And the tree was often alone. Then one day the boy came to the tree, and the tree said, "Come, boy, come and climb up my trunk, and swing from my branches, and eat apples, and play in my shade, and be happy." "I am too big to climb and play," said the boy. "I want to buy things and have fun. I want some money. Can you give me some money?" "I'm sorry," said the tree, "but I have no money. I have only leaves and apples. Take my apples, boy, and sell them in the city. Then you will have money, and you will be happy." And so the boy climbed the tree and gathered her apples and carried them away. And the tree was happy. But the boy stayed away for a long time, and the tree was sad. And then one day the boy came back, and the tree shook with joy. And she said, "Come, boy, climb up my trunk, and swing from my branches, and be happy. I am too busy to climb trees, said the boy. I want a house to keep me warm, he said. I want a wife and I want children, and so I need a house. Can you give me a house? I have no house, said the tree. The forest is my house. But you may cut off my branches and build a house. Then you will be happy. And so the boy cut off her branches and carried them away to build his house. And the tree was happy. But the boy stayed away for a long time, and when he came back, the tree was so happy she could hardly speak. Come, boy, she whispered. Come and play. I am too old and sad to play, said the boy. I want a boat that will take me far away from here. Can you give me a boat? Cut down my trunk and make a boat, said the tree. Then you can sail away and be happy. And so the boy cut down her trunk. And made a boat and sailed away. And the tree was happy. But not really. And after a long time the boy came back again. I am sorry, boy, said the tree, but I have nothing left to give you. My apples are all gone. My teeth are too weak to eat apples, said the boy. My branches are gone, said the tree. You cannot swing on them. I am too old to swing on branches, said the boy. My trunk is gone, said the tree. You cannot climb. I am too tired to climb, said the boy. I am sorry, sighed the tree. I wish I could give you something, but I have nothing left. I am just an old stump. I am sorry. I do not need very much now, said the boy. Just a quiet place to sit and rest. I am very tired. Well, said the tree, straightening herself up as much as she could. Well, an old stump is good for sitting and resting. Come, boy, sit down. Sit down and rest. And the boy did. And the tree was happy. The end. All right, kids. I don't know, that's a very nice story. And the pauses with the pictures for punctuation, I just think it's fantastic. Now that book would not have been easy to write. So on that note, we are going to the tree oracle. The oracle of the trees. Let's put this. All right. Here we go. Let's find out general reading from the tree world. Let's see what the trees have in store for us today, tonight, this afternoon. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Number 8. The tree of the desert. I need a little card stand to put that up. All right. The tree of the desert. This card. The card displays a large acacia tree, isolated in the desert, with a gnarled and knotty trunk. Around the tree, there is only sand and dunes. Baked by the blistering sun. We see a man from behind as he walks away. In the foreground, in front of the tree, we can make out the skeleton of an animal half buried in the scorching sand. Far away, like a mirage, we can spot an oasis and the buildings of a small town. Alright, so the acacia is a member of the Mimosaceae family. And there are some 1,300 species, common especially in subtropical areas and in Australia, mate. The acacia tree can grow about 25 meters, about 80 feet. There are also shrub varieties. It has small edible flowers that are filled with nectar, used in the production of the well-known acacia honey. The illustration of this card is inspired by one acacia in particular known as the Tree of Tenere. Considered to be the most isolated tree in the whole world. The Tree of Tenere was an extraordinary example of Acacia tortilis radiana that was located right in the middle of the Tenere Desert in Niger and was apparently at the center of cult worship. The poor, scrawny tree, barely 3 meters, nearly 10 feet tall, survived for 3 decades thanks to the fact that its deep roots were able to reach the water of a deep underground layer of the earth. Symbol of an astonishing capacity for survival. Even in extreme conditions. The tree was unfortunately run over and destroyed by a drunken truck driver in 1973. There is now a statue erected in its place to remind us of the tree that once stood there. Alright, symbology. Sacred to the ancient Egyptians, the acacia represents purity, immortality, and the survival of the soul after death. According to Egyptian mythology, the coffin built by Isis for Osiris was made of this wood. The acacia also symbolizes the acquiring of wisdom. Still today, its leaves are used in Masonic tradition, tied to the myth of Hiram, builder of the Temple of Jerusalem, on whose tomb it is said an acacia shoot sprouted spontaneously. It would also seem that the Ark of the Covenant, which contained the tablets of the law, was made of acacia. and that only this wood was used for the funeral pyres of the Hebrew kings. Its white flowers also represent candor, purity, and platonic love. So the keywords, according to Francesca Valente: end of stagnant situations, interruption of unproductive relationships, elimination of the unnecessary, preparation for rebirth, beginning of a new path, strength, and tenacity. All right, shall we read the upright meaning? Yes, we will. The tree of the desert card might at first glance seem negative, but we shall see that this is not the case. The desert, the gnarled tree, the skeleton buried in the sand, the man walking away, all of these elements seem to suggest a dark scenario, while in fact they have a very different meaning. The contorted tree represents perseverance and strength. The desert hides a spring of water beneath the surface. The skeleton symbolizes a past that no longer influences us. And the man with his back to us indicates that the time has come to strike off for unexplored territory. When this card is drawn, we must expect a time of decision-making, decisions that will prove important and positive, even if they are difficult to make. The card can refer to the end of a relationship that has been wearing us out, dragging on for some time, or possibly the end of an unsatisfying job, or the conclusion of studies that were not particularly interesting or engaging. This is a time when we are finally able to remove from our lives those things that have been limiting us or holding us back from moving forward. This may mean we choose a different or more suitable path. This is the first step, the one that we must take on the road to rebirth. And as ever, with most of the card readings we tend to do here on Otherworld Connections, they're always about taking control of things that are taking charge and responsibility of things that are out of our control, as in doing something about it. You can always walk away. Let's hone in a little bit on this. So is it to do really with a job, studies, relationship, making decisions? Is this about decision making? Is it about difficult decisions? Is it about things that are holding us back? Is it about deciding what to do about that? Okay. Should we play another card? Okay, so this is to do with making a decision on what to do about things that are holding us back. Okay, we're going to play another card. Alright, it's the bay tree. Julia just planted a bay tree in the garden. Hopefully Ernie doesn't completely destroy it. Do you like bay leaves? Pretty tasty, eh? Alright, the bay tree in a large vase next to an arch. Stands a single bay tree. At the foot of the tree there are a crown of laurels and a zither. Attributes of the god Apollo tied to the myth of Daphne. The bay tree, also known as the laurel, is a member of the Lauraceae family and is used for its aromatic and medicinal properties. Though better known as a shrub, it is also an evergreen tree that, if left unpruned, can grow to 10 meters in height. Characterized by thin branches and dark bark, the bay is famous for its oval leaves and their unmistakable scent. And our shrub is about this big, and boy does it give off a smell already, a scent. Bay trees have distinct genders, producing either male or female flowers. Their fruit is a dark berry containing seeds. The plants reproduce via seeds, but also through cuttings. They are quite common in patches along the Mediterranean coast, in addition to their culinary uses. Bay leaves can be served as an infusion or tea that is refreshing and an aid to digestion. The symbol of glory and victory, the bay tree is sacred to Apollo, the god of the sun, music, poetry, and prophecy. The temples dedicated to him were erected in groves of bay trees, and the god often wore a crown made of its leaves, the famous crown of laurels. According to myth, the reason for the special bond between the plant and the god can be found in the sad story of unrequited love of Apollo for the lovely Daphne, whose name in Greek means laurel. Apollo, who was madly in love with her, pursued Daphne, only to be constantly rebuffed, until finally in desperation she begged for the help of the gods, who then turned her into a laurel, or bay tree. So the keywords of this card: victory, solution to problems, positive results, advancement in career, fruitful studies, and difficult relationship. So we're going to find a solution to this problem, right? Is the solution in the bay tree? No. Time to play another card. Right, I got ahead of myself, you see. That's where the pendulum comes into its own. Can beat the cards. Beat the dealer, mate. All right. All right. Oh, we have a whole load of cards here. Okay, we got 4 cards. Are they in the right order? Yes. Okay. Just get organized on my tiny desk. The giant reed. Number 30. Seated on the marshy banks of a stream in a thick patch of reeds is the god Pan, with his characteristic goat hooves and his small curved horns. The god is intently playing his flute, weeping over the loss of his beloved nymph Syrinx, who appears as a fading figure behind him. Although it is an herbaceous plant, the reed was considered to be a tree by the Celts. Who even placed it in their arboreal horoscope among the other sacred trees. The giant cane, or reed, and is now cultivated in many places outside its area of origin. It is a herbaceous plant with a hollow, woody shaft that grows rapidly and can grow to up to 10 meters long. It has narrow, alternating, oval-shaped leaves from 30 to 60 centimeters long. It blooms at the end of the summer and produces fluffy, pointed ears. It can grow even in poor soil but needs plenty of water. This is why it is often found on the banks of rivers or ponds or in other watery areas. Its shaft, flexible but resilient, is used for various purposes. In lute making, for example, it is considered an excellent material for making the reeds. And it is considered an excellent material for making the reeds for wind instruments, like the oboe, saxophone, or bassoon, but also for the pipes of bagpipes. Symbology. Thanks to its straight, slender form, the cane has often been seen to symbolize the connection between heaven and earth, between the spiritual and the material world. It has also often been used, reflecting its particular characteristics, as a symbol for the virtues and vices of men. The cane is in fact peculiar in that its symbolic meanings are often double, reflecting both positive and negative elements, and symbolizing human characteristics that can be considered either strengths or weaknesses, depending on measure and context. If the reed's flexibility can be seen as a symbol for positive traits like resilience, adaptability, and level-headedness, it can also be seen to represent weakness and fragility, or even vanity. The cane appears frequently in Greek and Roman mythology and is at the center of various legends. According to a myth told by Nonnus of Panopolis, the birth of the cane is tied to the sad story of the young Kalamos, son of the river god Meandros. The legend tells of how the boy was one day engaged in a swimming contest with his beloved Karpos, the beautiful young son of the wind, whose name is Zephyr, caught up in the current. Poor Karpos drowned. Out of grief, Kalamos caused himself to dry up until there was nothing left of him but a reed. We can still hear Kalamos weeping for his friend in the soft, sweet song of the reeds in the wind. In another myth, the birth of the cane was associated with King Midas's barber. The god Apollo had given Midas donkey ears as a punishment. The king's barber dared not tell a soul, but since keeping it to himself was proving to be unbearable, he dug a hole in the ground and shouted his secret down into it. He was careful to fill the hole back in, thus burying the dangerous secret. Unfortunately for both Midas and his barber, shortly thereafter out of the hole grew reeds that sang the king's secret every time the wind blew. In yet another more familiar myth, the reed is connected to the god Pan. The god has fallen in love with the beautiful nymph Syrinx and followed her through the wood. The nymph, frightened by the goat-like appearance of the god, ran to a river. The nymphs there said who she had asked for help, granted her request by turning her into a reed. When Pan arrived at the spot, there was nothing he could do but cut a few lengths from the canes and, to console himself, create his famous flute, known in fact as the syrinx. So this is to do with flexibility, ability to adapt, resilience, removal of obstacles, recovery, and force of will. Is this concerning flexibility, ability to adapt, resilience, removal of obstacles? Is this to do with recovery? Which means taking time out, right? Difficulties in our life, problems in our life, hardships. Taking time out from the offending people in this reading, in this regard. The giant reed is an excellent omen, especially for those who feel like prisoners in a stagnant situation. The card tells the seeker that, relying on their own energy and resources, they will succeed in removing any obstacles that have been hindering their progress. If the question concerns work matters, the card is very promising. Finally, after a long period of immobility when it felt as though no forward movement was possible, events are about to begin happening quickly. Ahead are interesting opportunities, a change in role, travel, advancement or promotion, or possibly even a radical change in work or interests. The card can also refer to emotional recovery, following a time of sadness and unease. If the question is about love, the card indicates the seeker's relationship is somewhat unbalanced, that they are the one making most of the sacrifices necessary to keep the relationship alive. The card announces upcoming important clarifications. Yes, an upcoming clarification on So is it about staying positive? No, it's about recovery. Okay. We have the hanging tree. A large full moon against a starless sky shines down on a solitary tree. Standing on a bare and parched stretch of land. On a few branches hang several frayed nooses, but on a branch on the right side there is a hanged man, now dead. Crows fly overhead, cawing, while some others are gathered as though waiting at the base of the tree. How much time we got? Alright, so the key words here: change, new perspectives, different approach, spiritual renewal, abandonment of old habits, sacrifice, effort and commitment, bad luck that brings good outcomes. Okay, so there's a vibe of just like changing, your mindset to being positive. The card of the hanging tree suggests that there will be a change, possibly only internal, but with great implications for the seeker nonetheless. So we're looking at an internal change here. There will most likely be a small event that will permit the seeker to better understand the nature of the problem, particularly if the question is regarding a critical situation, and above all will inspire the seeker with a new course of action. It may just be a bit of news, or a suggestion from a friend that can open their eyes. If the question is general and does not reflect a specific problem, the card usually indicates a time of uncertainty when what they want from life and which goals to pursue are unclear, possibly due to external influences. Yes, so like getting away from the things causing you the problems and the trouble. It's not going to be easy, right? Important choices are looming on the horizon, ones that can touch various areas of life, from love to work to studies. Best to take time now to evaluate carefully, to identify and then follow our desires and inclinations. The card warns against the tendency to make too many sacrifices on behalf of others, or putting our own dreams on hold in order to please someone else. All right? So, going back to the tree of the desert. Yeah. Eliminating the unnecessary. Interrupting unproductive relationships. End of stagnant situations. Beginning of a new path. So, it's not going to be easy. And also, the thing that's been causing you problems is a chronic thing. A relationship, or relationship with a particular person or people. You find, as we always mention here, that limiting your time with toxic people is very important to all the success stories, all the success people, all the spiritual guru type people. It's the one caveat they all make. Mark my words, you name those people. Joe Dispenza, Bruce Lipton, all those people. It always comes down to you have to limit your time from toxic people. So that does mean walking away from people or rejecting people or taking respite from that dynamic. And then when you're away, it's going to be hard because you're used to that dynamic and you're trying to create a new one that maybe you don't know. It's a spiritual renewal. Easier said than done. Tree of Life, number 1. It's to do with birth, rebirth, long-time bonds, lasting success, material and emotional stability. So this is to do with rebirth. The advice for this card is choose carefully the seeds you want to plant in your garden. Cultivate the shoots, then wait with confidence. Sooner than you expect, you will have a marvelous tree that will give you beautiful fruit. So it's implying that there's going to be a bit of work involved, right? But then this is all the right way and the right thing to do. Drawing the Tree of Life card is an excellent omen. So it's an excellent idea if you're wanting to get away from these situations with people that are not good for you. It is one of the best cards in the Oracle of the Trees deck. Similar in meaning to the card of the World in the Tarot. This deck predicts the arrival of an extremely favorable period of the Seeker. So, freeing yourself up to have better things happen in every area of their life. If the question regards work, the card indicates that very soon the Seeker will find a particularly pleasing occupation, most likely in the field in which they are most interested in. If the Seeker is already employed, it means that there will be a stabilization, a renewed or long-term contract, a confirmation, and or greater economic stability. So it's just really saying like getting out, taking charge of things that you can't control, which is in this case like, negative people, bad people, narcissists, the underutilized, underacted upon term that people throw around. Oh, he's got the cardboard box. Okay, enjoy it, Ernie. It's a good thing. People like that aren't going to make out that you're doing a good thing, but it's a good thing. Yeah, so it's all positive. All right. I'll show you the picture again. It's nice. What's that? Last card. The Maypole. Check that out. That's a nice card. The Maypole. At the center of a city square bordered by many tiny houses, a festival is being held. There is music and a joyous atmosphere. Children and young people are dancing merrily around a high pole, at the top of which are hung beautifully wrapped gifts. One boy is shimmying his way up the pole, trying to reach one of the prizes, a toy train that will soon be in his hands. There's that train again, guys. So the maypole is a long shaft erected vertically, with prizes, usually edible treats, hung at the top. The pole is then covered in grease or some other slippery substance to make it more difficult to climb. Participants take turns attempting to reach the prizes at the top. The origins of the game appear to be quite ancient, perhaps going back to the Celtic tree cult festivals. Wow. Which usually took place in spring, specifically around the 1st of May. They were ancient rites tied to fertility and the rebirth of nature in spring, even in Germanic lands. They once celebrated various rites centered around the trees that were sacred to various gods, such as the oak for Thor. The ritual consisted of preparing loaves of bread to be hung on the tree as an offering, then performing sacrifices and dancing around the tree itself. Direct heirs of these ancient rites are the German Maibaum and the English Maypole. The festival, which takes place on the 1st of May, corresponding to the Celtic festival of Beltane, is centered on these enormous poles that are erected, then decorated with ribbons and coloured decorations. They serve as a centerpiece for great peasant dances and feasts, accompanied by tremendous quantities of food and beer. Sounds fantastic. In some areas of Italy in particular, such as Assisi, Pistoia, Florence or Terni, the Albero della Cucigana is associated with the Calendamaggio or May Day. During the festival, some of the participants wearing traditional costumes, the so-called Maggerini, go from door to door collecting donations that will then be hung from a large branch of an alder, a tree symbolizing the springtime rebirth, thus becoming the Albero della Cucagna. Oh, they spelt it differently twice. Two different spellings. I think it's Cuchanya, not Cuchigana. The name Cuchanya derives from the Franco-Provençal word Cohanya, possibly itself derived from coquina, kitchen in Latin, or from the German Küche. Various medieval legends mention an imaginary country, cocaine, where there was food and drink in abundance. A true land of plenty, where the albero della Cuchagna grew spontaneously. So the key words is effort rewarded, obstacles to overcome, recompense, hard-won victories, tests, and renovations. So your efforts will be rewarded spiritually and in your life if you make the effort to remove yourself from these people. It's going to be hard. But perhaps it's that fear of this change that stops us from doing it. I think it is. It's been like that for me at times. The Maypole card predicts the arrival of a time filled with obligations, effort, possibly even sacrifices. The seeker should not, however, become discouraged, for at the end of this time of trials, through constancy and ability, they will reach their goals and enjoy the fruits of their labour, in full knowledge that they deserve what they have achieved. If the question regards work, the card indicates that in the following months, the seeker will be put to the test. Things will be more difficult than usual, but in the end they will accomplish what they set out to do, and possibly more. There may be a promotion, a more important role, a transfer, or perhaps even the opportunity to start their own business. If the question is about studies, the card encourages the seeker to work particularly hard, because this is the decisive moment that will lead directly to the result, a diploma, a degree, scholarship, maybe even a publication. In relationships, the card encourages the seeker to stay the course. Don't go back! The desired person will soon express shared sentiment and interest, or will say that they want to move things to the next level. If the question specifically asks about a desired pregnancy, the card can indicate the arrival of a long-desired child. In general, whatever the question, the card is telling us to give it our all in this very moment, to hold on and not give in to the temptation to walk away or to back off. Because we are just a step away from the finish line. So if you can stay strong and focused through your hard work and determination, you will achieve your aims. You will find out what you like doing, who you want to be around, what you want to do with your time. Instead of having your energy drained by these people and just living a life of just wanting to be able to complain about them to other people, and having a therapist or treating true friends as therapists and draining all their energy because you're putting up with these people. You just got to figure out a way to walk away and commit. Might mean relocating and reducing that time. But if you want to make a change in your life and be successful and happy and just doing stuff that you were born to do, well, that may be what it takes. And that's the ad break coming up. So we've reached the end of Otherworld Connections. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm your host, Gino. Otherworld Connections. We'll see you on the next one, Revolution Radio. Much love, everyone. Take care, and we'll see you at the next